Hey guys, I'm back, and today in this video it's just going to be a normal update. I've got a few things to cover. I know I've missed last week's video, not by accident. I didn't really get a chance to do it, so I had to skip that one. So because I've missed one, I've got a little bit extra to cover than usual. So yeah, let's jump right into it. So first thing, I'm going to start off with the pulse coral. You might notice that it's a little bit smaller. I have trimmed it down using a little blade. I chopped down, if I get you a little bit closer, so a bit this side and the other side, bits that were hanging down here, I had to chop off because of they were just getting way too big, and one bit was attached to this rock, so I had to kind of brush that off. And I've put one of the large pieces that I snipped off is now down here. I know that you can see the colour difference in the two corals there. This one's kind of a grey silver, this one's a pinky, well, in the flesh this looks really pink. It's just because this one's a little bit stressed. It has been moved a little bit today. I've got 2 frag plugs there because I've actually started an eBay ad on eBay, so we're starting to sell frag, me and my dad, because he's getting loads of growth from his pulse coral as well. We're starting to sell £5 a frag of pulse coral. It is growing like crazy, and we are going to do the same thing with the GSP when both of our corals both our GSP frags get bigger. So mine has started on the back wall now. You can see that white bit. That's the new growth onto the back wall. Yeah, so it's just these 2 frags at the moment. So this will grow onto the frag plugs. It looks like you can see that kind of stuff on it. It's like a super glue, but it's like a sticky gel. It's kind of like super glue. It was working, I tried it, and they just flew away in like 12 hours, so that didn't really work out. There's a bit leaning over here because that was this bit here, that was one of the bits that flew off. I kind of just wedged it in between this area here, and it's floated away a little bit here, but it's attached to itself here. So hopefully that does well, and hopefully I can get a few more frags over there to sell off for money that will go into this tank. So that's the pulse coral. Next thing I want to go through is, if you've been following my channel, you'll notice that this is new. This little orangey, well, in the flesh this is red. This is called red digitata. Alright, so no skimmer, 15 watt standard stock light. You can't buy these separately, but if you could, they would be about 10 quid. You could nearly get those in Poundland. And just really basic setup tank, and I can keep SPS corals, which is, well, it's not, I haven't seen any growth, but it's only been in there a week. But the polyps are out. It's at the top of the tank, so it's in the top and then the middle, so it's getting the most light. It's not. I know SPS frags need quite a bit of flow, like they like high flow. I'll get to the wave machine because I've adjusted it, so it's not getting a massive amount of flow. But if you look close enough, you can see the polyps shaking a tiny bit. It is getting enough flow to survive. So hopefully in the next month, if we see growth from that, then I will be adding some more frags to the tank, which will be really good. And I'm actually feeding that coral as well, and that's what I'll go to next. Reef. I've finally got this in. Let's put my lamp on. Alright, so Reef. This is a coral food mainly to feed LPS corals because they got mouths like this one. It's a bit shot in because well, it's not shot in, it's just it kind of does this sometimes. Shoots in a little bit. Torch is alright, but that's a tiny bit shot in. But they have both. I fed Reef today actually. So what you do is I get like a little scoop and then a cup of aquarium water. Basically you put like a very low amount of this, a few tiny little scoops, and I'll get the scoop from in here. And there it is. So we got this little red scoop that came with the test kit. You take like 2 to 3 scoops of this, and then you put it into a container of aquarium water. You mix it around, and then you just pump it into the corals. I feed all my corals the Reef, apart from the pulse coral, because I did it today just to see if it would eat it. I don't think it's really doing it. So I do all the corals apart from the pulse coral. I did the zoas today. That's their first Reefroids feeding. They seem to like it, I guess. They didn't really... I don't really know if they can eat that, but torch coral went mad for it. This thing goes, like, this is incredible. It's incredible to watch this eat, actually. The SBS seems to like it. Its polyps do shoot in to try and, like, eat the Reefroids. The GSP goes mad for it as well. Hopefully we start to see a growth, I guess you can kind of give it, well, call it a growth spurt in the GSP, because Reefroids, it's a coral food, so it might do a little bit better, and the colour might actually improve, and the camera keeps going out of focus, I don't really know why. But yeah, that's the Reefroids. I will, in next video, actually, I might do it in a few days, I might be doing a video on feeding this, because it is really satisfying to watch, especially that Duncan coral. I have done a couple of videos on it before, and it looks incredible. So, moving on. So, the wave machine, I'm going to get back to that. So, I have been moving it around quite a bit, and you can see it's now pointing, it's pointing straight, it's at the top, so you get a little bit more surface movement. And I've currently got it on a low pulse, 500 litres an hour. So it's because this Duncan coral was getting blasted by flow, it's getting way too much flow. And what else was it? I think it was the pulse coral was going, its movement, it was like all flat, and it was just, no, you just can't, this is the perfect way to have it. I kind of fiddle around with the flow a little bit. I switch in between this and then fast pulsing and then continuous flow. So I kind of switch between the two, because in the wild the flow currents will be changing slightly. So that's a more healthy environment, I guess, more natural. So this is now extended to the light, because this used to do, it's still doing some weird funny movements, but it should adjust. I have only done this recently, past 2-3 days, so it's still adjusting to the flow. So is this thing, that's why it's, I think that's why it's a little bit shot in, kind of, it's doing this weird movement, because the wave machine, the flow currents changed. So that's the wave, and the pink that's on it, that's Coralline algae. I'll get to that next, I think, yeah. That's going like crazy. That's even starting to grow onto the impeller itself. I'm starting to get a few pink spots on there. It'll be really cool when that's all pink. It'll be cool when the whole back's pink. I'm gonna see what makes it first. The GSP on the back, or the Coralline. I think the Coralline, this is going crazy, especially all over the rocks. You can see this is crazy. So let's go on to the Coralline. I've kind of just gone through it. It's got, especially on this rock here, that's putty, that pink bit there. That was kind of my fail of trying to putty this torch coral. Didn't really go very well. So Coralline on here, it's virtually all purpley pink. You got it on here. You're starting to get it onto the frag plugs there. This one was naturally covered with Coralline algae. So Coralline is going mad. My dad's actually starting to get a bit of Coralline in his tank. There'll be a link in the description to my dad's channel. He done a video today. He uploaded one on what I'm going to be going through today, actually. And he's added something new. I'm not going to say what, you'll see in his next video. A big thing that I want to cover today is, you might have already noticed, and that's this. The reflection's weird. 26.5 degrees. That is a degree over than what it's supposed to be. I've set it at 25.7. That's what I've set it at. But it's because of recent... Oh, why is it weird? Alright, recently the air temperature in this area, Bex Hill, has been really hot, and especially tomorrow. Hold on, let me show you something. Alright, tomorrow is going to be about 34-35 degrees. We've got about 4 ice packs and cubes and everything ready for tomorrow. It's going to be 34-35 degrees, which is about 10 degrees over than what the average is. So yeah, that's good. That's going to be very high. Yeah, like yesterday it was hotter. This tank reached 27.2 degrees. I had the light off, the whole lid off. I had to have the lid on during the night because you never know, like clownfish can jump. Well, even the damsel that can jump, but I've never seen it jump. Actually, no, I have. I did have it once in that area once. It's obviously jumped through that little gap there. Yeah, so I don't want jumpers, so I have to have this lid on during the night. But tomorrow, there will be no light running. The whole lid will be off, and there will be about 4, maybe 6 ice packs in there. It's going to be so hot, and I'm probably going to be in my pool all day as well. Yeah, let's go on to the glass cleaner, which I'm going to get to. So this is the best glass cleaner that I've seen. This is called the Fritz glass and acrylic cleaner. So basically, it's I don't know how expensive it is. I'm sure it's like 10 quid average, maybe. There'll be a link in the description to a place where you can get this. There, you take like 2 to 3 sprays. Well, it depends on your tank size, really. But you just spray it on all the glass or acrylic. Works on acrylic as well. And then you just wipe it down with some kitchen roll, and it basically makes your glass really slippery. So I could do a demonstration, but mine is kind of wearing off. I put it on about 3 weeks ago. It makes your glass really slippery. So when you're doing the magnet, cleaning your magnet, it just, instead of it doing this, see, dragging along, it just goes really slippery. Mine's dragging along it because mine's fading off, but it could last up to a month if you put enough on. So that's a real help, actually, because it is a bit annoying when that magnet sometimes kicks up the sand a lot when it's dragging along. It is quite a strong magnet for my tank, though. That magnet can do up to 8 mil. This glass is 5, so it's so I kind of have to have that Fritz thing, otherwise it's just way too tight. Sometimes it's a bit hard to drag along. So yeah, that's the Fritz glass cleaner. My dad has done a video on this today, actually, so there'll be a link in the description to that video. Go check that out. Okay, let's go on to, alright, what's next? Alright, macroalgae, why not? So, what's the best angle for this? Alright, the Zoa, this jungle juice Zoa here, you can see all that green, that's called macroalgae. That's, I don't know how it started there, but it's obviously started as a tiny little bit, and it's just growing. So I'm gonna have to put a true Mexican turbo snail in here, because there are a few bits everywhere, especially you can't really see it on this rock. But if you look close enough, you might be able to see it, but it is very small. But I don't want macroalgae everywhere. It can grow fast, and it's ugly. So at first I thought it was hair algae, but hair algae is more like wavy. This is more like really straight. So it's 100% macroalgae. I'm starting to get a bit of it on here, but it doesn't really matter if I get it on the Duncan, because this Duncan actually eats it. This Duncan eats pretty much anything, to be honest. Anything he can catch in his mouth that's food. If it's like any type of macroalgae. Once, this was about 4 days ago, I trimmed this Zoa of macroalgae, so there was a few bits floating around. It's caught a bit in this guy's mouth, and he was actually eating it. It took him a couple hours to actually digest it, but he did eat it. So he eats everything. So that's macroalgae. Any tips that you know to any other ways to get rid of it? I think I'm probably gonna have to go the Mexican turbo snail way. That's the best way I know. That should get rid of it quick as well, and he'll eat any type of like green, see, like down there. But I'm not really worried about that kind of green, so I've got that a little bit on the back wall as well. Little green film, that's natural. You have that in every tank, and eventually it is going to get overtaken by Coralline algae as well, which is nice. So yeah, let's moving on. Yeah, I said moving on. Yeah, moving on to the end. This video is quite long. It's longer than usual because I did accidentally skip one last week because I didn't really get a chance to do it. So next video will be I don't really know. I'll probably be on the Reef feeding, because trust me, this is so satisfying to watch, even more satisfying than the pellets, because you can see all of the corals eating and digesting it. It's just so cool. I'll even do it in slow-mo. So yeah, you'll see me next week with another video. Bye.
Memory lane isn't that too far away from our hearts, yeah. The ones we keep close, we should never let go, so